Hey, all you beautiful peeps out there. Thank you for joining me for another debunk. Today I'm going back to Hammy Boy. Just can't get enough of our old Hammy Boy. He is a hoot. Anyway, if you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back, and let's go. But before we start, please subscribe to my channel. If you already know you're going to like this, go ahead and like it, or you can dislike it if you want. Go ahead and leave comments. I love all of your comments and I do read them. And I do not delete comments. If your comments get deleted, it was YouTube that did it. So grab your snacks and probably you need your facepalm gear because we are dealing with Hammy Boy after all. And he definitely is one of those facepalm people. And get comfortable and let's go. Take it away.
You know, people also have the wrong idea. They think dinosaurs are all great big monsters. If you brought them in here, they'd have their head through the roof of the church here. But actually, there's a couple of different groups of dinosaurs. One group, the average size about the size of a bison or buffalo. The other group, about the average size of a sheep. And in fact, there were dinosaurs as small as chickens. If they'd have survived to today, we would have had Kentucky Fried Dinosaur instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken, wouldn't we?
Well, Ken, I have to kind of sort of compliment you. You're smarter than Kent Hovind. Although that's not a very high bar to reach, so I don't know whether that's a compliment or not. But yes, thank you for admitting that birds came from theropods. Theropods were bipedal, and so they wouldn't have to run on their front legs because they ran on their back legs. And they also had feathers, just like Archaeopteryx. Google it. At any rate, not all scientists admit that birds evolved from dinosaurs. But the scientists who don't agree that birds evolved from dinosaurs are in the minority. And I don't even know what you hoped to accomplish by saying that most dinosaurs were small, like chicken size or sheep size or cow size. You know, experts already knew that when the Jurassic Park movie was released in 1993. But you also failed to mention that there were huge dinosaurs. Some of them even dwarfed the Tyrannosaurus rex, among them the Spinosaurus. So, yes, you neglected that particular point of information. I'm not so sure it was neglect. You also forgot to mention that not all dinosaurs lived at the same time. Oh, wait a minute. No, you did not forget that, did you? Because if not all dinosaurs lived at the same time, that totally debunks your creationism nonsense.
And you know what's interesting? Evolutionists believe that when you're eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, that you're eating dinosaur because they believe that dinosaurs evolved into birds. Doesn't make sense, does it? That's why they can't have dinosaurs living today or anything, or living beside man, because they say, no, dinosaurs became extinct about 65 million years ago because to them they evolved into birds.
Let's get this straight, Hammy Boy. Nobody cares what you believe. Okay? The evidence shows that birds evolved from dinosaurs. That is key. Evolved from. So in the 1960s, a dinosaur fossil was found called Deinonychus, which lived 115 million years ago. Yes, you heard that correctly. And it was very bird-like. Okay, let's get something straight. First, dinosaurs had hollow bones. guess what birds have? That's right, hollow bones. Second, dinosaurs had feathers. And third, not all clades evolved into birds. I mean, seriously, that is a statement that is dumb enough for Kent Hovind to say. So I take back my earlier quote unquote compliment that you're a little above Kent Hovind in the intelligence area because you clearly aren't. Nobody, I repeat, nobody can say that a Tyrannosaurus rex was the ancestor of modern birds. That's just idiotic. What we can say is theropods were the ancestors of birds. I'm going to let Logic handle the next section for teeth because he does it beautifully. And by the way, if you are not subscribed to Logic, go subscribe to Logic. I don't know what you're doing. Subscribe to me if you haven't subscribed to Logic.
They try to say the dinosaurs grew feathers to turn into birds. Do you know, if you look at a bird, you know something you notice about birds that have feathers? They have to actually turn their neck around and preen their feathers to keep them lubricated. Can you imagine a T-Rex or something trying to turn around to preen its feathers? Said, no, birds have a special bone structure, they have a special air system, they are designed for flight, very, very different. So I certainly don't believe dinosaurs evolved into birds.
Ken, this is the fossil of an Archaeopteryx. Now, it is clearly an intermediate fossil going from dinosaur to bird because it's got teeth and it's got feathers and it's got other dinosaur features plus other bird features. Now, I know this puts a crinkle in your creationist theory, right? Because obviously you challenged us to find a transitional fossil. Well, guess what? There are millions of transitional fossils. This is just one of them. So why don't you shut up? I purposely chose an Archaeopteryx fossil that has clear feather impressions so that you cannot miss it. Nobody can miss these feather impressions, Ken. What more do you want? Look at the beak. They have teeth.
And then we get closer to T-Rex and people say, Mr. Ham, don't you think Adam would have been frightened of T-Rex seeing all those teeth? Don't you think Adam would have been frightened that T-Rex was considering lunch? Well, originally T-Rex's lunch was only plants, along with all the other land animals. Really? Yeah, because now we come...
And perhaps a lot of vegetables before the flood got even bigger, so perhaps the T-Rex or tigers or lions needed those sharp teeth to eat such hard vegetables.
How would having sharp teeth make it easier to eat those vegetables? Bigger, harder veggies would just make the sharp teeth that much less useful. I guess they'd be kind of good at putting nice round holes in them, but for actually snapping pieces off and crunching and grinding them to actually swallow them? No, what a pain. This is why you don't tend to bite through a carrot with your canine teeth. You tend to use your premolars. And it's why herbivores tend to have flat incisors and molars, while carnivores tend to have mouths full of
But mums, dads, and teachers, I know there are many people that believe in millions of years, even in our churches, but you see, if you believe in millions of years, you've got a major problem. The idea of millions of years came from atheists, people who rejected the Bible, who said that all those fossil layers with the fossils were not from the flood of Noah's day, they were laid down millions of years before man.
This is a favorite tactic with the Yecker leadership, equating atheists with the quote-unquote evolutionists. It's probably meant to keep their flock in line, their sheeple in line, so that they never, ever, ever question them. Hate to break it to you, Hammy boy, but not even the Jews believe in a young earth. And you are taking the quote-unquote proof text for a young earth directly from the Jewish scriptures. You fucking liar. But you know what? I'm perfectly happy to let you keep believing this asinine view, because once people figure out that evolution is indeed a fact and that the earth is old, they will dump your ass.
And if you believe that, then you've got death millions of years before man, but after God made man, God said everything was very good. And you know what we find in the fossil record? Evidence of animals eating each other and bones in their stomachs, but originally God said we're all vegetarian.
And the guy in here, the Bible.
This is the Bible.
You question the words of the mighty Jimmy?
No, I'm reading it.
You better kneel down and...
You know what else you find in the bones in the fossil record? Diseases like brain tumors and cancer and arthritis. But God said everything he made was very good. God wouldn't call cancer very good. Everything originally, when God made it, there was no death. There was no millions of years of death or disease. It was all perfect.
You serious?
Show me the chapter and verse that says everything on earth was vegetarian before the so-called flood. Not that it really matters, because your book is bullshit. But even the Bible doesn't say that, you fucking idiots. You know, you call yourselves biblical literalists, but you're the ones that add to the Bible all the goddamn time. Like I said, not that it really matters to me because your book is bullshit, but if you really believe it, don't add to the Bible. Also, how do you know that God would not call cancer and death and sickness good? Because, quite frankly, your God is a sick motherfucker.
So I actually have a dinosaur puppet at home. I put it in my hand and I can make it turn around and make it bow its head down, and I can make it do whatever it wants to do. God didn't make us like that. He wanted us to love him because we wanted to love him. And so he gave a test to Adam. Adam, you can eat of all the trees, all the trees. There's only one tree as a test of obedience you're not to eat, because if you do, you will surely die.
A dinosaur puppet? What are you, 5? Anyway, your point is God didn't make us to be puppets, which he actually did. And I'll get to that in a moment. But, you know, your God doesn't really know much about psychology, does he? First of all, he made Adam and Eve with no knowledge of good and evil. That is, in order for them to receive the knowledge of good and evil, they had to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And that meant disobeying God. But they had no way of knowing that disobeying God was a bad thing to do, because he made it so that they did not know good from evil. How is this in any way fair? Your God is a monster. At any rate, God certainly did create us to be puppets, because he knew, according to your own goddamn book, Ken, he knew what decisions we would make beforehand. That means we have no choice but to make the decision. And don't give me the shit about, well, it's a free choice, but God knew you were going to make it before you made it. But it was a free choice. No, it wasn't. If he knew beforehand, which according to your own book, it says he knew, then we have no choice but to make the choices he knew we made. So, according to the verses on screen, God already knew beforehand who he would save and who he wouldn't. So, do you really think that if he predestined the most important decision of our lives, according to your own belief system, that he would not predestine the itty-bitty decisions of our lives? Are you fucking kidding me? Get a grip. So no, we do not have free will. We never have had free will, and we never will have free will, according to your own belief system. But let's talk about reality for a moment. And do we have free will in reality? Well, The short answer is no. And I say the short answer because the long answer involves talking about neurochemicals, talking about brain states, talking about this and that and the other, which is way beyond this video, but maybe I'll make a video about it someday.
The test to Adam. Adam, you can eat of all the trees, all the trees. There's only one tree as a test of obedience you're not to eat, because if you do, you will surely die. Well, along came the devil in the form of a serpent. He came to Eve. Eve, you can eat the fruit. You don't need to obey God's word. You decide what you want to do. And then Adam took the fruit, and when Adam took the fruit, he rebelled against God, and rebellion, that's called S-I-N. What's that word? Sin.
There is so much wrong with this. I don't even know where to begin. So let me just get my thoughts together for a moment, and then I will continue and point out every fucking flaw in this line of thinking. Okay, I just chose this image because I thought it was cool. I went on the internet and I found this picture as well as a bunch of other pictures, and I just thought this one was cool. However, Genesis never says that it was Satan that came to Eve in the garden. In fact, when Genesis was written, Satan was not even a thing. And by that, I mean that he wasn't a personified being of evil. Because if you look at the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, you will find the Satan being used in a generic way to mean opposer, like the angel on Balaam. Interpreting the serpent in the Garden of Eden as Satan is actually an eisegetical reading that actually does not appear until the book of the Revelation, when it says that that old serpent, Satan, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'll get to that. I will. But, you know, let's not get into that right now. So the snake comes to Eve, you know, which is like really fucked up, right? Because God did not tell Eve not to eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He only told Adam. Now, we assume that Adam told his wife not to eat of the tree because of what she said in reply to the serpent, but that's another thing altogether. And notice how old Hammy Boy's being sneaky here. It says it right up on screen. For in the day thou eatest of it, thou shalt surely die. Let me ask you something. According to their own mythology, did Adam and Eve die in the day that they ate the fruit? No. Now, of course, I'm aware of the apologetics that say, well, you know, they didn't die physically, but they died spiritually that day, and they started a physical decline. You know, that's like saying, you know, God lied, so now we have to figure out a way to make it work. What? And I think I pointed this out before, but it bears repeating. It is really fucked up to punish innocent people, people who did not know right from wrong. They didn't know that they were supposed to obey God, that obeying God was the good thing to do and not obeying God was the evil thing to do, because they had no knowledge of that. They had to eat the fruit first.
We all come from Adam and Eve. They're our parents 6,000 years ago. And so when they sinned, then all of us who come from Adam, we have their nature, we have his nature, so we sin.
6,000 years? I'm not even going to touch that one with the 10-foot pole right now because that's not what I'm interested in right now. What I am interested in is it is very fucked up for God to punish us for something that our parents did, especially when we weren't around to tell them. Now, obviously, I am the last person that is going to say that life is always fair. I know that life is unfair, but we're talking about God here, not life. And God is supposed to be the epitome of fairness. Not to mention, there was not a literal Adam and Eve. Adam in Hebrew is Adam, meaning man. That's all it means. That's all it means. Come on. Hemi boy, why is it that I, a layman, know more about this stuff than you do? Or maybe you do know this stuff and you just want to lie about it and hide it from your flock because you want money. But you know what gets me more than just about anything else? These people are supposed to be biblical literalists, and yet they take Paul's word. Paul, who by his own admission never even met Jesus in the flesh, over other people. In fact, if you look for the idea, not the words, but the idea of original sin, it never comes into usage until Paul. And then, of course, you've got the thing of, okay, are these people following Christ or are they following Paul? But that's a different story. Well, friends, I don't want to induce a concussion or a brain aneurysm due to face palms. So I think that's enough stupid for today. You know, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. For some reason, I had to get another Twitter account. So if you're already following me, please make sure that you are following me on my new account, link in the description, instead of my old account. So yeah. We're getting invaded by the stupid over here in America. Don't know about anywhere else in the world, but definitely here in America. You know, Australia, if you want Ken Ham back, I'll gladly hand him over to you. You know, I can't deport him. I can't do anything. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, maybe together we can get him to go back to Australia. Then you guys can deal with him. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed because for some reason YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. I recently set up a Patreon account. You can follow me over there. I will start releasing patron-only content as soon as I get probably about 10 people. So, yeah, follow me over there only if you are in a financially stable position. If you like what I do, please consider becoming a member of this channel. You can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. You get custom emojis and you get these debunks early. Well, friends, until next time, I bid you adieu, and may you always have stupid to entertain you. Goodbye.